The Preakness is Saturday, May 17th, and the best way to bet is with First Bet. Sign up today with promo code RADIO250 to receive a $250 new customer bonus. You'll unlock a $25 wagering credit for every $100 you bet in your first 60 days, up to a max bonus of $250. That way, no matter who you pick to win the Preakness, your best bet is on First Bet. Head over to firstbet.com to get started and remember to use promo code RADIO250 to claim your sign-up bonus.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Welcome to Speak. I'm Joy Taylor, joined by two legends, Super Bowl champion Keyshawn Johnson, NBA Finals MVP Paul Pierce.
Yo.
What's up, guys?
We getting back in this race today, Celtics. Let's go. We're gonna get today. We're gonna get today.
Y'all might get today. Y'all might.
We'll get to that. But let's start with the Thunder taking control of the series with the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic electrified the Oklahoma City crowd with 44 points. But Thunder pulled away in the fourth quarter to win the game and take a 3-2 series lead for the second straight game. Denver stumbled down the stretch, scoring less than 20 points in the fourth quarter. So, Paul, you actually predicted that Jokic was going to have one of these kind of performances in the game last night, which he did. But why wasn't Jokic's 44-point performance enough for the Nuggets to win?
Well, he just needed a little more help on the defensive end, because usually when he has big games like this, they usually win. Now, they didn't get much off their bench. Russ struggled to score, but I liked his hustle and the things the intangibles that Russ gives you. It was just the fourth quarter. They couldn't put the ball in the basket, and OKC caught fire. And you saw, Gilgeous-Alexander just took over. And, if that had any indications on who's the MVP of the year of this season, I still don't know, because of the way Joker played and the way SGA played. And I know that these games in the playoffs don't, really tell the tale or who should win the regular season award. But, man, if I had to choose an MVP, I have to say it's Cole. But as far as Joker's 44 on the game last night, that's one they let get away. They led the whole game. Michael Porter Jr., he's got to give him a little more than he gave him. He's starting giving you 30 minutes, and I know he's been plagued by a shoulder injury. That's still no excuse. You can help the team in other ways, your rebounding, your defense, and he's just not getting it done. I mean, when the big fella, when in my eyes the MVP gives you these type of performances, you have to capitalize on it, and they just did it. And I say a lot of that had to do with the non-production of Michael Porter Jr. and really not getting much from the bench, which Westbrook leads. He has to be better for them.
We ain't going to get tired of coming on the show at the top talking about Michael Porter Jr. Got to give you more. At some point, that's going to stop,
that's what
right?
I'm saying. I know he's dealing with an injury, but if that's the case, I feel like you got to play Westbrook a little more.
Well, but Westbrook got to at least hit the rim a couple
Well, but his energy, though, Key, it's infectious. He do all the hustle thing. At least he giving me that.
Yeah, he gives you some hustle stuff, but he was missing poorly on them threes, though.
He'll get the steal, airball the three.
Oh, man. But it didn't even. I was like, me and friends, we got a little chats going on. Whatever. We sit there, we going, damn, man, he look like you out there shooting. Just missing everything. But he did at times give him a little bit of spark in the past, so we'll see. Your question is, the Joker's 44 enough to win? No, he needs help, like Paul said. You start off with Michael Porter Jr., Gordon 13, that's okay. But in the fourth quarter, outside of Joker, who was one of two, they 0 from 10 from 3 down the stretch. And the game was close enough to, if they was to hit some of those threes, it could have been a different outcome for them. You can't expect every single game for your superstar player to carry the team. And I understand he's the guy, the potential MVP and all of those things and whatnot, but you can't expect for him to do it all the time. Some other people have got to come up and step up to the plate. If you look at Oklahoma City, everybody contributed that got minutes. Everybody. They done something, whether it was rebounding, whether it was assists, whether it was scoring points. They didn't leave Shea out there all by himself to just be the MVP. They contributed and helped them. And because of that, they're able to get out of there in the fourth quarter and win the game. Come from behind, pass them up at home, and win the game.
Yeah, they only got 10 points from the bench. Yeah. 2 points from Michael Porter Jr. They're not deep enough, and their depth isn't consistent. OKC is a developing young team. They're learning how to close games out. Seen that multiple times throughout this series. They did a good job containing Jokic the past few games, but he was going to have a breakthrough game at some point. He's a 3-time league MVP and arguably the best player on the planet. Paul even said it before at the end of the show yesterday that Jokic is due to figure out what it is that OKC is doing and have a big game. And he did, and he's having legendary performances again throughout this series. He's the first player since Wilt to record multiple games with 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists in a single playoff series. So they shouldn't be in this situation. They squandered that performance from Jokic last night. Can't blame Murray. You got to get more from Michael Porter Jr. because he is starting. And look, you know, for what you want to say about Westbrook, they can only go 3 deep.
Yeah.
So what more can you ask for? Like, there's only so much scoring that you're going to get from there. Like, yes, you can do hustle plays and all these other things and contribute and rebounding and energy and all that stuff, but you also got to score more baskets than the other team to win.
Yeah.
So when you're missing 3-pointers down the stretch, this was a close game, the Thunder go on an 8-0 run and you miss the next 3 threes that you take, well, that's the game right there. So you've got to make your shots, you've got to support Jokic, and you can't ask for more from him. Like, what more can you ask from Nikola Jokic than what he's giving you? And your second best player in Murray.
That 3 was crazy, though. The one we swirled around.
You got to win these games. The reason you win these games is because you expect your star to be stars, right?
Yeah.
You go into the game and say, all right, if he do what we need him to do, and he do what we need him to do, the guys who win you the games are the role players. And to me, the guy who actually won them the game yesterday was Lou Dort. He hit 2 big threes in the fourth quarter. I was just like, when they was making their run, when they was coming back, Lou Dort, they left him open. He just knocked down 2 threes. And I was like, those are the shots you got to make from your role players for you to win. And Michael Porter, he didn't get that done. I mean, like Aaron Gordon, he's coming to the party. But you need these guys. Chris Brown, he's got to show at Westbrook. They got to come to the party. And what I'm seeing night in and night out from the role players from OKC is they're showing up because they're stars. Even though Jalen Williams has struggled, he's been their other all-star this year. But Chet Holmgren, he's been solid. Alex Caruso, oh, my goodness. He's the glue. To me, he is the stone-cold gorilla glue that's holding them together. I'm talking about he knocks down open threes, hustle plays, guard whoever out there. Every time, I promise you, every time I watch the game when they play and he get an open shot, I say that's going in every time. It's gotten to the point where Alex Caruso, I feel like he's going to make, like, he look like Klay Thompson out there every time he shoot. And you need those type of guys, somebody you can kind of depend on. And he's a guy that they say, hey, off our bench, we can depend on him every night to get us between 13 and 15 points. And if you got people, the more people you got that you can count on in that department, the farther you can go and the more you win games. And Denver just doesn't have that outside of Joker and Murray on a consistent basis. Say, hey, this guy I can pin him in for 15 on a bad night, on a great night for 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, like, the box score doesn't always tell the story of the game, but in this case, it looks very unbalanced.
Really
and
unbalanced.
If you're going to have a starter struggling the way that Michael Porter Jr. is, you've got to have consistent contributions from your bench, which the Nuggets just don't have. Like, how much more scoring do you want Jokic to do?
No, I mean,
and then down the stretch, to your point, hit some shots. Yeah. Why are you falling apart in the fourth quarter? I mean, is that coaching? Is it an exhaustion?
No, and the thing about it, Joy, they've been in hostile environments. They won a championship. Yeah. You know, when you win a championship, there's no situation you've never been in. So, like, when you get in these environments, and that's why they played so well up until the end, because they're used to being in this type of environment. And these are situations where they normally hit these shots. They just didn't last night. And it was a total letdown based on what Joker was doing, because he was putting together a classic performance. And like you said, Key, that one shot he hit when they were down 3, that was ridiculous. I jumped out my seat like, what is going on? I thought I was watching a classic sports game. It was that exciting. And if that's any sign to come, this series is going 7.
Well, earlier in the night, the Pacers closed out the Cavs in Cleveland. Indiana completed their second gentleman's sweep of the playoffs, knocking off Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs after taking care of Giannis and the Bucks in round 1. Tyrese Halliburton scored 31 points to help the Pacers punch their ticket back to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Man.
Those pesky Pacers. Paul,
Pesky.
what have the Pacers proved this postseason?
They proved to me that they're a deep, well-coached, with the point guard who lifts his teammates for the last 2 years, and they can be a finals threat. I'm serious. I'm watching this, and I said this during the season. I said at the start of the playoffs, I said, man, we got to watch the Pacers because their experience from a year ago getting to the conference finals, where they dealt with some injuries, because I remember that Tyrese Halliburton was dealing with some injury issues in the playoffs, would kind of set him back. And from top to bottom, with the rest of the Eastern Conference teams that are left, I'm not sure if there's a team that can go 10 deep like the Indiana Pacers, and all these guys can play, from Obi Toppin, but Benedict Mathurin. These guys are coming off their bench, and you can argue that they could be starters for other teams. T.J. McConnell is as solid as they come for a backup point guard. And don't let me get to Tyrese Halliburton, a guy who was labeled by NBA peers to be overrated. He's out there telling them to overrate this with these big games. You know what I'm saying? And I'm overrate this to the conference finals and possibly an NBA finals appearance, which I feel like they can get to, barring the Celtics don't make it past the Knicks. If it's Knicks versus Pacers, I believe that the Indiana Pacers are deep enough, coached well enough, and have star power with enough dogs on this team to get them to the finals.
Again, here's a team much like OKC. Everybody that played, except McConnell didn't. I mean, he played. He was a -16, but he played. Everybody else contributed at a very high level, whether it was rebounding, assists, playing defense, scoring, whatever the case is. So like Paul is saying, you got the depth. And they are true contenders that come out of the East. If you look at the way that they got in there, they took care of business in the Bucks, although the Bucks lose Dame Lillard. You say to yourself, okay, they won that game in 5. They lost third game, they got them in 5. Same thing with the Cavs. They lose game 3, they get them in 5. They're going to be rested, okay, waiting on whoever comes out the East, because I still think Boston will push the Knicks to 7. But yeah, they're real contenders, I think, especially up against what's left coming out of the West. If they were to make it to the finals, they'll be real contenders to win a championship.
They are a lot better than we've given them credit for. They dominated the Cavs throughout this series. And I know that injuries have played a role, but the Cavs had their stars out there. And when you're talking about 2 gentlemen sweeps, like, no matter what, they've dominated the postseason so far. And we did not give them enough credit going into the postseason. And they're back in the Eastern Conference Finals. I do think it's going to look much different than the Eastern Conference Finals did last year, because they are really a contender. And when you're looking at either of the teams that they would be facing, even if the Celtics were managing to get out of it, they're not going to have their star back. Tatum's out. Yeah. So I think they would be a perfectly reasonable matchup with the Celtics if they were able to get past the Knicks also.
They like that. I don't know. They like that mosquito. I'm telling you, like, you know how you be in the backyard or wherever you be, and it just bothers them right now. You like,
mosquitoes can kill you, though.
Like, yeah, they can kill you too. They're one of the African ones. They can kill you. I'm telling you, they like, man, I wouldn't mess with them, man. They're gonna be a problem. They're gonna be a problem in this Eastern Conference Finals.
Those are real peace.
Like the Cleveland Bugs. On to Cleveland. I guess the conference finals are not for you. Our producer Mohan's in a bad mood today. Sorry, Mohan. After his Cavs got knocked out of the playoffs last night, Donovan Mitchell scored 35, but Cleveland came up short. And after the game, Mitchell shared his disappointment at losing in front of the Cleveland fans. Take a listen.
I love playing in that arena, man. Like, that energy, that crowd. We're 0-3 at home. You know, let the city down, man. This place is special. This place is really special. And we didn't get it done. Y'all gonna write us the off, man. But we'll be back. We let city down, let each other down. We'll be back.
Who is at fault, Paul, for the Cavs' disappointing early exit?
Man, it's a lot of people you got to throw in there. First, you got to start off with the coach. It just seemed like he got thoroughly out-coached by Rick Carlisle. Carlisle, you know, he's won an NBA championship. You know, Atkinson, he may get Coach of the Year. You know, this is the first time, or this is actually the fifth time. What is the fifth or fourth time that a 64-win team?
Fourth time. Yep.
Got a 64-win team gets knocked out of the second round. And see, this is a stat I didn't know that until right before we came on the studio. The Cavs' home record versus the rest of the NBA is 36-5 versus the Pacers this year, 0-5. That can't get it. Maybe it's some. You know what? The thing about this Eastern Conference, and it's about the playoffs in general, I feel like this year was more about the matchup than any other year I can think of. You know, it was just about if they match up with them, they can beat them regardless of what seed they are. And because the Pacers matching up against the number 1 seed, I mean, that was it looked like a bad matchup for them. The Pacers was the 8th seed. I mean, no, not the 8th seed. They were the 5th. What were they, 5th, 4th seed? That was just a bad matchup for them in the second round. And just like Minnesota was a bad matchup for the Lakers, even though the Lakers had a higher seed. You know, we're seeing just how styles make fights at some point. No matter how good you are during the regular season, it's just certain teams that have your number. But Coach Atkinson, he has to be put on the hook for this. Donovan Mitchell, what more can I say, man? He didn't shoot the ball particularly well. He went 8 for 25. I get it. But then we say, you know, he shot poorly. But he had 35. He was a -3, you know, which is not that bad. But then we see guys like James Harden who don't shoot and say, hey, and we all go out there and say, hey, at least I'm going to go out swinging. Well, Donovan Mitchell, he went out swinging. That man, he was aggressive all night. He didn't make shots. But in order for Cleveland to take the leap, Evan Mobley has to become their best player. I love Donovan Mitchell, but Evan Mobley has to take another leap next year if they want to take the next step in becoming a championship contender next year.
Lakers been out the playoffs for weeks now, man. No need for you to mention the Lakers. Well, anyway.
Any chance we get a chance to slap them around, you know we're going to do that.
I think it comes to injuries and a little bit of the coaching. You know, Donovan Mitchell was aggressive. He got to the foul line 21 times. That's a lot. So that tells you right then and there he was aggressive with everything. And
he did his part.
He did what he could do.
For the most part.
He did what he could do for the most part. I just think that I believe we gave them the number 1 seed based on the record, right? I mean, like, we really felt good about who they were because the record said that they won 64 games or whatever the case is.
Yeah, but there were points throughout the regular season where they were truly dominant, too.
And that may be the case. There's been a lot of teams that were truly dominant throughout the regular season, but the postseason basketball changes. And clearly it changed to the degree that they're now sitting at home after 5 games.
Right.
And we can contribute that to injuries and coaching as well. But I think we still, it's just like Paul just said about the Lakers. Well, the Lakers really, in all honesty, a 3 seed? Like, really? Like, we know the record got them there, but were they really a 3 seed up against Minnesota?
Were the Rockets really a 2 seed?
Yeah, were the Rockets really a 2 seed? Like, were they really a 2 seed? I know the record got them there. And was Cleveland really a 1 seed? Were they really the 1 seed? Because they got dominated as if they were the 8th seed, the 6th seed, the 5th seed. That's just, you got to look at it that way.
You know who they kind of remind me of? The Raptors from 2015 to 2018.
Ooh, that's a good one. Who, Indiana?
2018. No, the Cavs.
The Cavs?
Before Kawhi got there.
Okay.
They're just a team that's, like, really well coached.
Yeah.
Really consistent. You remember they finished 2nd?
Yep.
In 2015, 2016, 3rd in 2016. They had the 1st seed in 2017-18.
Yeah.
And every year we're like, man, there's the Raptors. Like, they're really solid. They've got good play. They're really good throughout the regular season. They're finishing at the top of the East. They're going to break through this year. And they did break through when they got Kawhi.
Right.
But that's kind of what they feel like to me. Just a team that is really good during the regular season, really well coached. Remember, Dwayne Casey won Coach of the Year that year.
And he got fired
the next.
And then what happened? They brought in Kawhi and they won a championship. Not saying it was, Dwayne Casey's fault, but I'm saying that they remind me of that team where it really may be that they need
one more player,
one more big piece.
Ooh, that may be it. But I just, I saw Max Strus on the internet said he called his team and was like, guys, we don't lay down, we got to show up or something. And then he came out and laid an egg. Like, Like, you got to have guys step up.
But
There's
don't
no
you think
excuse.
it's more than just, like, toughness?
When you get to the playoffs, when you get to the second round, it's the game plan is the game plan. Like, everybody, look, Joy, I'm telling you, we get a key, I don't know what y'all playbook look like. We get a book like this. Everything, I know everything about you, but by the time game 3 come and game 4.
You mean scouting report?
Scouting report.
Oh.
Yeah, a scouting report book, just like this. And I get the DVDs to show my age. We had DVDs, DVD player. We sit on a bus, plane, wherever, watch them, put them in the car, watch them every stoplight. And
yeah, we had computers.
Yeah, we had the DVD.
Now they have files, they said.
Like at some point, it comes down to the mental adjustments. And the Cleveland didn't make those mental adjustments. Like tonight, Boston,
so this
is a mental adjustment they got to make. It don't have nothing to do with the game plan. This is a toughness thing tonight. No Jason Tatum. This is a toughness thing.
You said a big piece. They need a big piece, you feel?
Well, I mean, I just don't think that we overthought it with the Cavs. Like, I think the Cavs were a legitimately great regular season
LeBron back to
team.
Cleveland might be a good one.
Here it goes.
We can, LeBron back to Cleveland. Like Paul was saying that earlier in the year, he should go back to Cleveland and finish it up. So maybe that's the piece that they're missing again. Bring him back and finish the deal.
Cleveland,
this is for you.
This is for you.
Dak is back and ready to use his new weapon, George Pickens. We'll tell you if the Cowboys can make it back to the playoffs next on Speak. And don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on Sirius XM.
That would be crazy if he could go back.
Yeah, that's my last time giving you that this year, huh? Hey, Dunzo. Dunzo.
The Preakness is Saturday, May 17th, and the best way to bet is with First Bet. Sign up today with promo code Radio250 to receive a $250 new customer bonus. You'll unlock a $25 wagering credit for every $100 you bet in your first 60 days, up to a max bonus of $250. That way, no matter who you pick to win the Preakness, your best bet is on First Bet. Head over to firstbet.com to get started, and remember to use promo code Radio250 to claim your sign-up bonus.
Time for our top story of the day, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Another major NFL game was announced today. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will face off against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Man.
You think the Cowboys win their 4th straight Thanksgiving Day game?
I don't know if they will or not, but it'll be exciting because the last couple years on Thanksgiving is a snoozer when they played, right? It was one of those situations. The teams that they were playing weren't very good at this point in time. So even though they won 3 in a row, they had the Giants, the Commanders, and the Giants. So now they finally get a real opponent in Kansas City. So it'll be one of those games where you're not necessarily starting your dinner at that point in time or eating, so to speak, because you're going to be watching the game. The last couple of years, you kind of, you already to start cooking, you probably eat, not even paying attention.
You cook on Thanksgiving?
I do some stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
All right, no, Paul cooks.
Oh, 100%.
I'll throw something down.
What you think, I'm going to go buy stuff from the store?
I don't cook on Thanksgiving.
He can throw something down.
No, I'll put it in. I get it.
I bring the wine
Whoa.
and the vibes. I know. I can't.
Stop.
I can't. It's so hard.
No, you have to focus. But anyway, Joy. Yeah, so it'll be fun to be able to.
I help clean on Thanksgiving.
It'll be fun to be able to watch a real game. I'm excited about it, though. I really am. To see Dak Prescott up against Patrick Mahomes. Maybe, just maybe, and don't reach over here with your left hand and smack me down. Maybe this is a preview of.
What's he about to say?
I don't know.
Maybe this is a preview of the Super Bowl. Maybe it's a preview. Could be. NFC versus AFC. Cowboys versus Kansas City. You never know.
Who forgot to give P his medicine today?
It could be.
Did you say Super Bowl?
I said a preview maybe of the Super Bowl matchup. It's late in the year.
Back on the Cowboys payroll.
Damn well Cowboys ain't going to no Super Bowl.
I didn't say they were. I said maybe.
They got to make it to the playoffs. They not even
We
considered a
about to do a
contender.
topic if they're going to make the playoffs.
Like, damn.
That's why I hate talking. Because y'all will say anything.
You don't hate talking. You got a big, giant speak behind you. You You do not.
Y'all will twist my words, and then the people on social media ain't got no life.
You said maybe it's a preview of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I said maybe. I didn't say they were going to the Super Bowl, maybe.
They got to get a preview to the playoffs. I'm not even sure if they're going to get there.
I hope they make it to the Super Bowl.
With the Cowboys, Dak Prescott is back from his season-ending hamstring injury and has a new target to throw to. And here's what Dak had to say about George Pickens. Let's take a listen.
I'm excited. I mean, you turn on the tape and you see a guy that can catch the football. You put the football anywhere in his vicinity, very strong hands, more than a 50-50 catcher. He thinks it's his ball when it's in the air, and I'm excited for him. I know that we need some help in that position.
What?
All right.
We need like a separate feed for like just in studio. And we gotta we'll do a paywall. Keith, the Cowboys have enough to return to the playoffs this season. Obviously, I think you think they do.
I do honestly think they do. One of the main things that they needed was to shore up the offensive line. They did that part. Can they shore up the running game? Just enough. Enough of a running. Can they average 4.1 yards from that backfield for Dak Prescott in the offense? They certainly went out with George Pickens, and you heard Dak Prescott talking about it right there. Here's a guy played in 14 games a year ago, 59 catches, had 103 targets, 900 yards, and 3 touchdowns. His counterpart had 152 targets and 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns. If he plays his 17 games with Dak Prescott, those numbers are going to increase significantly. And so will CeeDee Lamb's numbers increase significantly. The one thing that they were missing was help. And they got that help. We've been talking about if they should have drafted a receiver. Who were they going to bring in free agency? They made the trade. And I think that's enough because it puts points on the board. Whether their defense is solid and sound or not, they can put some points on the board offensively and win a whole lot of games and find themselves knocking on the door or in the playoffs.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say the defense improves slightly from what it was last year, at least from a run defense perspective. Because last year they were 31st in scoring defense, 29th in rushing defense, allowed the most rushing touchdowns, and allowed the 3rd most rushing yards per attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say they improve slightly from that.
Yeah.
Given that grace. Do you see the Cowboys as the type of team that has to score, like they are an offensive team?
Yeah, I do.
Like the only way they're winning, they're not stopping anybody. They're just outscoring everyone.
I mean, if the defense just gives them a little bit more, just a little bit more, the offense has picked up some players that can give them even more. You can score points. That offense can score points in this league. Schottenheimer, I'm assuming he's going to call the plays. I know he's the head coach, but I'm assuming he's going to probably call the plays because a lot of guys like Schottenheimer wants to prove to people that he can call plays and be the head coach in his first head coaching job. So I do, though. I know we like to poke a lot of fun at the Cowboys and laugh at them because of the history over the last 30 years and what they've been over the last several years and all of those sort of stuff. But I honestly think by getting George Pickens is going to help significantly this offense. It reminds me a lot of when they went out and acquired Amari Cooper. All of a sudden, the offense took another level. It took another step to another level.
I'm just trying to see where I can place them in the playoffs, Key. Because I'm looking at the division, the NFC, right?
Yeah.
So in the East, you got Philly.
Yep.
The North, Detroit.
So you're calling them winners?
These are the division winners.
Yeah.
Yep. South, probably Tampa Bay. The West, either Rams or Niners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let's say the 4 division winners because they're not going to win the division.
Okay.
After that, those are the locks. Would you say the Commanders are in?
It certainly feels that they would be in
That's
one of those
5.
spots.
I would think the Packers,
I don't know.
Youngest team in the league, they're going to get better. They're going to get better.
I just don't know. I'm just saying. I just don't know.
The Packers is in.
They hadn't won the division. They're
But
scrapping and crawling.
they right there, though. They right there. And then after that, this is who they got to compete with. The Niners or Rams, barring who wins the division. The Vikings, who won 14 games last year.
No quarterback.
They got J.J. McCarthy.
I'm going to take the Vikings out.
No quarterback.
Okay, all right. Then you got the Seahawks. They won 10 games, and I know
they got a new quarterback.
I don't know.
They ain't got DK Metcalf no more. I know they picked up Cooper Kupp, but no.
Okay.
But they're still all going to be competing for that 7th spot, I feel.
Well,
and then you got the Cowboys in there.
Yeah, so it's going to be 5 or 6 teams fighting for 3 spots. 5 or 6 teams fighting for 3 spots. And they're going to be in that 5 or 6 teams fighting for those 3 spots the Cowboys are. Why are you looking at me like that?
Well,
the reality of that they're going to be fighting.
Outside of the competition that is in the NFC, which, you have the Lions, you have the Eagles, you have the Bucks, you have the Rams, you have the Niners. I think Atlanta will be better. You have the Seahawks, who I think will be competitive. Yeah. You have the Bears, who I think will be better. You have Dallas, obviously, who I think will be in that conversation. You've got the Packers. You've got the Commanders. I'm saying a lot of teams. Now, if we're just going chalk right now.
Those teams, though, Joy, that you're mentioning had off-season moves. The Detroit Lions lost a bunch of people on that stuff. But it matters.
I'm with you.
I understand they got Dan Campbell, but when you losing coordinators and position coaches, that matters.
I agree. I think it does as well.
Okay.
But there's just a lot of teams competing for that wild card spot.
Yes.
I think they'll be right there. I'm not saying they're not going to. I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs.
Get in.
But this is my thing. What the bleep are we talking about? You fired Mike McCarthy. So what? You could make it to the playoffs?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they want to get to the playoffs. They ain't been to the playoffs.
And then do what?
You got to get in the tournament first.
That's a ridiculous standard to have for the Dallas Cowboys.
You got to get into the tournament.
You're paying 3, because when they pay Micah, they'll have 3 of the top paid players for their position in the league.
Have to start
with
somewhere,
Dak,
though, Joy.
CeeDee, and Micah. And we're having a topic about maybe they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Here's the other part, though. Because we keep talking about Dak making the playoffs, like when he's healthy, he makes the playoffs.
Well, he missed a couple times, but yeah.
Right, but like for the most part. But we're leaving out the competition within the division has changed. In 2016, it was Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, Eli Manning. 2018, Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, Alex Smith, Josh Johnson, Colt McCoy, Mark Sanchez, and Eli Manning in 2018. These are the quarterbacks in the division that they were playing against.
Who did Mark play for? Oh, Eagles.
Jalen Hurts, Gardner Minshew, Taylor Heineke, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Garrett Gilbert.
I don't know Garrett.
Okay. Daniel Jones, Jake Fromm, Mike Glennon. Remember that era? 2021?
Yeah, them quarterbacks is bad, though.
That's my point. This year, it's a little different. So there's a little different energy walking around the NFC East this year. This is a very competitive division. I'm saying that they were counting for years that that the Giants and Washington were not even going to be sniffing around the conversation. That maybe they'll go back and forth with the Eagles. And now the Eagles are the Super Bowl champs. Jaden Daniels has arrived. And whatever we think of Russell Wilson, he's going to be better for the Giants than what they had last year. Mm-hmm. So this isn't just like a walk around.
DeVito and
they had DeVito, Daniel Jones, and Tyrod Taylor.
No, not TT. TT was at the Jets. Right?
Well, that's what the notes that they gave me.
No, TT was at the Jets.
Anyway, the point is that they had DeVito and they had Daniel Jones. So it's going to be better than that. So when we're talking about what the Cowboys are going to do last year, again, they've got to fix the defense. I understand that George Pickens is a huge addition, but unless they're just planning on scoring more points than every team that they play against, which is a tactic that works only until your offense has a bad day, and then you get smoked. And this is not the same division that they've been working in before.
I understand, but they aren't listening to what you're saying. They think that they are in the same position.
To be clear, the Cowboys shouldn't listen to anything I'm saying. I'm just giving my opinion to you. The Cowboys should absolutely go into this season believing that they have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. They should actually listen to you from the beginning of this.
I didn't say they were going to win the Super Bowl.
Keyshawn Johnson said it guarantees that the Dallas Cowboys will be in the Super Bowl this year.
Don't do it.
We got to send that clip.
They start off the season
Please send that clip to Michael Irvin.
They start with Philly on opening night.
1.
Yeah, game 1.
So 0-1.
Let's get Key some old gear of his from Dallas.
I need to get that schedule.
They don't want me.
Let's get him a big helmet.
I can't help them.
Coming up, the defending champions are still alive and have a must-win game tonight in Boston. It's time for Paul Pierce's pep talk. Say that 5 times fast. Next on Speak.
Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Well, check this out. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Time for another Paul Pierce takeover. Normally, Michael does this segment, but today, Paul is going to tell the Celtics to get it together. You better do Mike proud. Take it away, Truth.
All right, man. You know what the deal is. We down 3-1. We've been here before. Don't worry about it. We've been here before. 3-1. Miami Heat, remember that? A couple years ago. I know we didn't overcome the adversity, but we've been in the foxhole. I don't care what they say about us. I don't care if we did lose our best player. You see up here in this Raptors, we got 18 banners up there. You know who we are? We the defending champs. You know who you are, Jay Brown, Derek White, Coach Mazzulla, Sam Cassell? We the defending champs. Did you hear me? The defending champs. Don't nobody come in our building, game 5, and end the series on us. This series is far from over, but we're gonna take it one game at a time. Everybody has written us off. Everybody has written us off, but not us in this locker room, not us. I want you to take a look at each one of y'all. Look each other in the eye. Look each other in the eye right now and tell each other you're gonna do what it's gonna take to get it done. Look each other in the eye and say, I'm a Celtic. I'm a Boston Celtic. Check it out. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Prosecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. I believe in you, but it's not up to me to believe in you. It's up to you. You know what, guys? Let's go out there and get it together. It's time to fight. Fight, fight, fight. We are the Celtics, the defending champs. Let's get it together. Let's go.
Everybody up right here. 1, 2, 3. Is that it, Paul? Everybody up. Let's get up in here. 1, 2, 3.
Well done, Paul.
Let's go.
You know?
You're not sweating, though.
Yeah.
I am a little bit. Yeah, I am.
Supposed to be sweating.
I am. You see, I'll get a close up. I got sweat.
Yeah, there's definitely
sweat right there.
Right up there.
Heart beating fast.
You ever given a speech in the locker room?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have. You know, the thing about the speech, you got to know when it's that time. Like, and today is that time for a speech. You didn't have to do it every game, but they need a speech today.
Yeah, I already know you're not speaking. I'm not even asking questions.
No, don't even ask me.
I'm sweating. I do need it, man.
He's sitting over in his locker like this.
Yeah, for sure. You already know I'm doing that, Joy. I ain't got time.
You got the scowl? Do the scowl?
No, I'm just, whatever I'm doing, I'm probably just not paying attention.
You doing the scowl?
You know, listening to somebody.
You never listen to anybody's speech?
Does nothing for me. Nothing.
Well,
they used to get mad at me when they took team meetings and all that. Team meet, team only, players on. And I'm just going to get this team, bro.
Just make sure y'all give me my touches.
Well, my targets.
Yeah, give my targets, man.
Will the Celtics force a game 6, Key?
I think they will tonight. I think they will force a game 6. They're at home. Backs are against the wall. They don't want to get gentleman sweep. They just don't. They don't want that gentleman sweep coming their way. They make the right adjustments. Now that they know that Tatum is out, right? They notice that. So now Coach Mazzulla and his staff could design things for everybody else to get involved, to take up some of the slack that's missing now with Tatum. So I think they force a game 6 back in New York, and they go in there and maybe come back to game 7. But I'm not ready to count them. I'll put it this way, Joy. I'll text you in the second half and let you know.
With your prediction?
With my prediction. I'll do that.
Don't be FaceTiming me.
No, I ain't gonna FaceTime.
If we down.
No, I ain't gonna do you like that.
This is a rough one for you.
No, we got this today. I truly believe it.
We can't pounce if
listen, it is
No, if
what
they
it
lose,
is.
I'm a party on him.
Oh, you are?
Oh, if they lose?
No.
Oh, I'm a party on him. Because guess what? He joining the Lakers, the Cavs, everybody he ride, he joining them. He's going to be right there with us in the duck boat.
In the duck boat.
No, ain't no duck boat, we lose.
No, real boats. Yachts.
Real boats, yachts.
Oh, that's very true right there, though.
Book the trip. No, I don't know. I don't know that they do force one. I think it's going to be a tough game tonight, but I think New York is going to throw everything they've got at the Celtics
So
tonight.
you don't
I don't think that they want to play around and try and make this and let this get to a long series. Either way, I think New York's winning, but I feel like they're going to do their best to close them out tonight.
No, I think they're going to do their best to close them out for sure. But as we've seen in these playoffs, these teams that get behind, when they get into that second half and it don't look like they're going to catch up, it's almost like they just start waving a white flag. That's what I think is going to happen, to the point where they're going to look up and probably be down by like 12 or 13 at some point late in the second. And then they're just going to wave the white flag and say, we'd rather go back and get it done on our own turf in New York in front of our own fans.
I'm still trying to get back to New York, because my favorite restaurant out there, if I'm in that locker room I'm playing, oh yeah, I got reservations tomorrow night.
Yeah,
at this restaurant.
Yeah.
So don't mess it up, fellas.
He's saying that for the Knicks.
I'm saying for the Knicks.
If they get behind, it's just kind of that human nature. We got a little space.
Yeah, we got some space. Like we got some cushion. We're going to get home and win it again in front of our fans.
Right.
Well, coming up, the Mavs trading Luka to the Lakers for Anthony Davis shook up the NBA world. But which team will win a title first? We'll answer that next on Speak.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
It's too early to tell what the Lakers will look like next season, but based on the reaction to Luka Doncic's trade in Dallas, we all assumed that LA won that blockbuster trade. To add insult to injury, the Mavs missed the playoffs, but then the Lakers were eliminated in the first round, and Dallas won the first overall pick in the draft lottery. Ooh, they were excited.
You see how fast Nico got up?
I don't get whoever that was at the front. He was jumping. I thought he was going to tear his ACL. That dude in the front, he was jumping up and down. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that front office got a lot of heat. There's some pressure off him now.
Oh,
maybe.
Man. That's a good feeling right there.
Look at the dude in the front.
Yeah.
Okay, man, they blocked him. He was the guy in the front.
The black dude.
I couldn't tell.
He got the KC Jones towel going.
Who wins the championship first? Paul, Lakers or Mavs?
Look at this.
I think the path is a little more clear for the Dallas Mavericks, because I figure this. Like, if I'm trying to win it, they made the trade to say, hey, even though you had Luka for the long run, they say, hey, we're still in a win now mode. We still got AD, Kyrie. Hopefully he can come back at some point next year. We got Lively, Gafford, all these nice little pieces. You may look into trying to trade the number one pick for the Greek Freak. And if you do that...
But they said they're not going to trade it.
I get it. But there's a path for them to win a championship before the Lakers, because I don't see the assets that can get the Lakers the superstar that they need. You got Reeves, you got Richie Rui, and things of that nature. And you still got Bron. But they've shown there's still a first-round playoff exit, even with all of that. So,
it's an interesting question. Naturally, I'm going to say the Lakers. Mm-hmm. It's just natural, because I watched Luka carry us basically to an NBA final when he was with the Mavs. He took us three and put him on his back and did some stuff. You got a lot of uncertainty with the Kyrie situation. We already kind of know Anthony Davis is hit and miss. We know Cooper Flag could be a good NBA player, but do we know, right? Do we really honestly know? And so we know what Luka is, and we know what some of the other Lakers are. Now, when we talk about win a championship first, that doesn't mean LeBron James is going to be a part of that. They may not win a championship next year because LeBron James is still going to have the cloud over the organization in terms of his ability as a player to be the guy in the first guy. It hasn't transferred to Luka yet. But I think once he's gone, and I'm assuming he's got 1 year left and he's going to be, doing some other things in his life. I don't think he's going to continue to try to play forever. Then that thing takes over and it becomes Luka's team, truly Luka's team, opposed to us trying to force it to Luka right now. And with that being said, they'll still be trying to build things in Dallas where the Lakers will probably already be ahead with Luka.
Well, assuming that they draft Cooper Flag in this situation and they don't bring in Giannis, because obviously if they bring in Giannis, I think
it's a different conversation. But I'm going up based on what they just said is that they're not getting rid of the number 1 overall pick.
If they draft Cooper Flag, then I would have to go with the Lakers. I mean, we've seen Luka take the
us. 1, 2, 3.
Who?
He took us.
I'm gonna give them a little more credit than that. They had a roster that was built around Luka.
Yeah.
And if they are able, if the Lakers are able to do that, maybe not next year because LeBron is going to be there, but the year after, I still don't know that Cooper Flag is going to be developed enough that much to compete with some of these other young teams in the West that we're seeing put up the performances that they're having in those rosters.
What was Kyrie's actual
ACL?
That was ACL. Okay.
So he'll be back at some point next year. But I just, even still, like, he's a rookie. You can't expect that of him, even if he does have a nice roster that he's coming into. And there are just teams that are just further along in the West. Like, what happens if the Warriors end up getting Giannis? Like, there's so much more that can happen. I just think that the Lakers are further along. They can make the changes to put together a championship team within, say, the next 3 years than the Mavs are. But we will see. Coming up, the Warriors need a playoff Jimmy performance to stay alive against the Wolves. We'll tell you if Golden State can pull off a win without Steph Curry. That's next on Speak. The Warriors face elimination tonight in Minnesota, and Steph Curry still isn't ready to swoop in and save the day, so Jimmy Butler has to activate. He activated playoff Jimmy in Game 3, but only shot the ball 9 times in Game 4 as Golden State fell into a 3-1 hole. So, Paul, you have faith that playoff Jimmy will keep the Warriors season going?
I think the season's over, Joy. No matter what Jimmy Buckets does, I saw him go the other day. He went for like 30-something points, and it still wasn't enough. I think this young Wolves team is hungry. They're deeper than the Warriors, and they.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, streaming now only on Netflix.
Smell conference championship coming up. So no matter what Jimmy does, I think Anthony will offset him and the Wolves will get the win.
Yeah, he needs to be more aggressive, not 9 shots. Give me some more of that. But I think he activates that. Jimmy, activate. Like Gleek, the little...
All right, so you say the Warriors get the win tonight.
Yeah, I think they do.
Ooh, Timberwolves favored by 10.5. I don't know. It'll be an interesting one. I think I'm going with the Wolves. I think they want to get this done, wrapped up, and get some rest before the Western Conference Finals. That's it for us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us.